Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today is my review for Dead City Season 2 Episode 1 Power Equals Power. And it's good to have The Walking Dead back on our screens. However, it is not the strongest start, but it is not a whimper. So let's jump right into this and talk about Power Equals Power. And first of all, the big win of this, and definitely the best bit about the episode, like story-wise, is how they explain how Maggie ends up back into this storyline. Originally, I was going to really struggle with this, because I was like, I felt like Maggie's story was done. It's a bit of a stretch to have her in Dead City Season 1. How is she going to factor in Season 2? And they work quite well. This episode has a plotline that follows Maggie at the bricks, and it seems like New Babylon has forcefully annexed the bricks to become a part of their federation, which is quite funny and ironic because she moved away from the hilltop because she did not want to have that happen with the Commonwealth, only for that happen with the bricks, who are a far worse group because they are forcefully conscripting people to go to Dead City, to go to Manhattan and fight in a war they don't want to. This is quite funny for characters like Maggie because she didn't want this to happen with the Commonwealth, and it's happened again. And I really like how this episode has Maggie going like, okay, I don't want my people to suffer, so she made a deal in this episode. Is about her and Herschel and Jenny, and how she's now been roped back into the storyline. She's being forcefully conscripted to join a expedition to Manhattan with Pearlie and New Babylon. I thought that was well done. There might be a scene or two here and there which was a bit annoying. Like, I really do not like Herschel's weapon of choice, which is throwing a knife. How is that going to be effective in a zombie apocalypse? The whole slingshot that the sisters had, Connie and Kelly, in the final season of The Walking Dead was a bit dumb, and it was dropped in season 10 and 11. And now we've got Herschel throwing knives to try and take out a deer. A bit dumb. Just give him a bow and arrow. Don't have him have this unique weapon. Didn't work for me. But everything else, I really like Pearlie and him forcing Maggie to become conscripted. And I did like how New Babylon, it's obvious they are very going to be villainous. They are like the Nest of Daryl Dixon season 2. They are probably near the end of the season going to end up becoming the villains because Pearlie's a bit unsure with New Babylon. And them, like, because someone didn't want to go to war, executing him for that. At the start of this episode, it is clear that we might be seeing New Babylon eventually on the villains, which is really, really cool. And on this side of the episode, I really enjoyed it. I thought the Maggie stuff, for once, was really well done. And we actually saw maybe a slight character progression with Maggie. And I really like the scene how Herschel shouts at Maggie because she just can't get over Negan. And I saw that, I was like, that's how the fans feel when they see Maggie regress back to a season 7 character development. And that scene was kind of ruined for me just because it wasn't meant to be funny, but I found it funny because that's how I imagine fans would be seeing Maggie do this again and again and again. I would say the only other scene outside of the Herschel thing, which I already mentioned, probably Jenny. I didn't understand her characterization, why she was doing this. A lot of things were just happening with Jenny, and I didn't understand it, didn't like it. But moving on past that, because everything else about the Maggie stuff worked, and the most important thing, it explained why Maggie's in this season. It gives us a solid reason she's conscripted, or she's conscripting herself so that no one else from the bricks has to be forcefully taken to war. Now, the Negan side, the end of it is great. I'm going to talk about that later. But I didn't like that Negan's apparently been a prisoner for a year, because it didn't really seem like that's the vibe we're going to get from Season 1. Season 1, Negan smiled after he was promised basically a kingdom. He was given a kingdom and the keys and all, and he smiled. And I thought that's the Negan we're going to get, and then we just get Negan's a prisoner for a year. And personally, I feel this feels very disconnected from Season 1 and Season 2 with Negan, and it felt like, oh, we need Negan in a buffer zone, so have him be a prisoner so that they can slowly bring the point across that Negan doesn't want to be saving Negan. You could have done this in way quicker way. You could have had Negan start off as saving Negan, but then show the cracks like he throws Lucille and discards it. He doesn't want to be that man. Instead of having Negan be a prisoner for a whole year, and have the whole, oh, the saviors, or sorry, the Baratsi, even though they are basically going to become the saviors, the Baratsi, the Croat, and the Dharma have found Annie and Joshua and bringing them back to Manhattan after they got detoured to Tennessee. It'd be cool to see them. I doubt we'll see them in Season 2. And there'll probably be, oh, they're coming back, but they won't come back until maybe Season 3 or 4, or with a new showrunner. they're just going to be forgotten about. I have a feeling we might never see these characters again, or they're going to be recast. I don't know if they'll bring back the actor for Annie, even if she has more on season 11 for this show. So either they're just going to disappear between the showrunners, or they're going to die off screen, or they're just going to be silently forgotten about. It could be something like that. But moving past the whole I didn't like the Negan thing at the start, once Negan puts on the jacket, gets a new Lucille, that is when I really like the Negan plot. The whole everyone's in the church waiting, Negan does his whole speech, a guy's like nah nah nah, and Negan just knocks him out. And we get that big scene with power equals power, and everyone's impressed at Negan. That is what we wanted. I just didn't like everything going up to that point. I felt like they were stretching out Negan because they needed to give Negan a buffer zone so that they could explain everything with the New Babylon taking over the bricks, the Marshals, and what they want, and with how they're going to get Maggie back into the plotline. They had to do so much work with Maggie. They had to put Negan to the back burner, and Negan just kind of sizzled there and annoyed me and bored me a little. But once we got to the episode, it looks like we're going to get a good season. I'm really confident. Now we got everything. Well, I'm really interested with the New Babylon. Now we got Negan back into the plot line, and he's no longer sizzling over there in a cell. Let's talk about my overall thoughts and opinions of this episode. And personally, I'm going to have to say my thoughts and opinions for Dead City Season 2 Episode 1 Power Equals Power. I think this is a solid episode, and I would give it a 6 out of 10. Most of this episode with the Maggie side, I enjoyed, and the ending was good with Negan, but there are a few things here and there. It is not the best premiere we got, but it's not the worst. It is a solid start to a promising season 2, but it's just my thoughts and opinions. So please tell me what your thoughts and opinions of episode 1 are down below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Tell me everything down in the comments. So thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you later.